Hello, you're watching Kel67 Gaming, and we've done a bit of shopping.
Yeah.
So
It's time for another haul.
here we are in another haul,
Yes.
and last month was what?
June, wasn't it?
More importantly than that, it was another new
console.
console month. We had one glaring omission from our collection, which needed to be addressed. But I don't know why we never had one before, but we do now have a Sega Saturn, which is nice. We've played a little bit of that. Great
Especially
machine.
the racers.
Yeah, really great machine. Don't know why we didn't have one before now, but got a decent enough price on it, so managed to pick that up.
I'm to go with the Sega Saturn because it is quite filled library-wise with racers, isn't it?
Yes, it's brilliant for arcade racers.
We've got the Sega Saturn steering wheel. Now, this is quite good to play with.
Taking some getting used to.
I'm still not used to it. I think you've gone, somewhat used to it?
A little bit, aye. But it's a bit like in the arcades. The Sega arcade racing games were a bit twitchy on the steering wheel, and you do the same thing as you do when you're playing in the arcades. You weave side to side instead of just steering. But anyhow.
Well, that's me trying to straighten up when playing Sega Rally.
So, speaking of arcade racers, got to have a bit Manx TT Superbike, which I don't ever remember playing in the arcade, if I'm honest. I know that it was an arcade game. Don't remember playing it. It's pretty decent game. It's what you expect. It's of a Sega arcade racer, and it's going to take some practice.
Yeah.
Can't top the high scoreboard on this one just yet, but it will happen.
Well, how much we have topped the scoreboards quite a bit on, especially in the first level, is Sega Rally Championship. Now we've both played quite a bit of this, haven't we?
Over my lifetime, I've played a hell of an amount of this.
I mean, it's
obviously played it a lot in the arcades. Got it on PC, but
haven't we got on something else as well?
I don't know, possibly. But it is the must-have game for the Sega Saturn.
I mean, it's one of the more common ones as well, though, isn't it, to go through?
Yes, I think everybody with a Saturn should have Sega Rally. I'm not sure whether it's Sega Rally or Outrun that's my favourite game of all time, but it's definitely a Sega racer. Another game that I picked up, this is like pure nostalgia for me, not for the Saturn version. I've loved it on the PlayStation 1. It's aged horribly, but it is Olympic Soccer by US Gold. It was never a look at, to be fair, as a game, but the way it played was, it still does play quite well. It's fast paced, does everything that you want to do out of an arcade football game.
Next up again for the Sega Saturn, this is Sega Touring Car Championship, another car racer, which tends to be quite a theme, doesn't it?
It is, and I think this is another one of Sega's arcade machines, although again I don't actually remember playing this one in the arcade, but it plays pretty well.
Quite. You definitely have more selection over what car you're going to be choosing this one instead of Sega Rally, but
that is very reminiscent of Sega Rally, setting us all on roads. Another football game. This one is Sega Worldwide Soccer 97. This was bundled in with the console. I don't know if I would have went out my way to get it otherwise. I've got no nostalgia for the game, and football games of this era usually more miss than hit, but it's there, so I'm sure we'll play it at some point.
Next up is NHL 97. Now this is actually in a bigger box than the rest.
Yeah, the Electronic Arts boxes.
The EA ones. or I mean, it's NHL to talk about the
And
game.
then NHL 97 is a game that I did have again on the PlayStation 1 rather than on the Saturn, because I never grew up with the Saturn, but it's a game that I've got a little bit of nostalgia for, and loading it up and hearing the menu music and things like that took me back, what, 25 years now? Bloody hell. Anyway, there's another football game. This one is the Sega Sports one. It is International Victory Goal. This one actually is alright. I've had a little game of it. It's not brilliant. I mean, it's not PES or anything like that, but it's alright. Don't know how much I will play of it, but I mean, this was what Sega was all about. It was racing games and sports games, and they did it very well.
Next up is another racing game. This is Daytona USA Championship Circuit Edition.
Now, I do remember this one in the arcade. Brilliant game, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And there's 2 Daytona USAs on the Saturn. This is the second one, which I'm led to believe has got the upgraded visuals and looks a little nicer and what have you.
Probably has a bit more in it as well, like features and. But it's another just car racer, isn't it? Really.
It is. It's another racing game. It's always good. And another arcade game, not a racer though. This is Virtua Fighter 2. Virtua Fighter probably doesn't get the recognition from mainstream that it should have. There was the first polygonal 3D fighter. This one as well, I believe, is completely motion captured, which was completely unheard of at the time. Sega were really, really ahead of the game. Brilliant game, plays pretty well. Obviously, you've got the 6-button control, which just lends itself so brilliantly to fighting games.
Now, whereas that's it for the Saturn, it is not it for the whole. So for the 360 we have Eternal Sonata. It's a RPG.
The JRPG thing, aye.
You've heard of this, but I didn't when I first seen it. But it was quite cheap, would you say?
It was alright.
Yeah.
And you just, I don't know, you like the look of it from the cover?
Well, I like the look of it, but it's probably one that we'll both play at some point.
I've got a Famicom game, just card only, but it is Harakiri Stadium by Taito, a baseball game. I've been picking up a few baseball games. As you probably noticed, I got the Super Famicom baseball games last haul. This is a Famicom baseball game. Probably not going to be quite as much fun, but it's a Famicom game. I don't pick them up very often.
Next up for the Nintendo Switch, which is a console which we pretty much never pick anything up for.
Yeah.
This is Pokemon Sword. Now, I've been playing this quite a bit recently, since we picked it up. I don't know why it has took me so long to come in.
I don't know
it. Because, I mean, it's Pokemon, I've played pretty much all of them. Or at least one of each series of them. Obviously this one being for Nintendo Switch, I think they've released 2 new ones for Switch. This one, Sword and Shield, and the Let's Go ones. But
I just feel that we do Switch completely differently to everyone else. It's like Switch seems to be a huge thing for a lot of gamers. Yeah. But it doesn't get much love at all in this house. It really is just exclusive titles that get played on it and nothing else. But that's what it is. This was an absolute steal that I got this one for, and it's another baseball game. This one is Powerful Pro Baseball by Konami, obviously the Japanese Wii version. I picked this up for the princely sum of 10 pence. Can't go wrong for that, and that was with free shipping from Hiroshima.
Next up is a brand new still sealed version of PUBG, aka PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's pretty much just
it's code in a box, isn't it?
It's code in a box, but
we've already got the game, so we don't ever need to crack the code out. No. But it's something to sit on the shelf, I guess. Argos had quite a huge reductions on a couple of Xbox One games, so we picked that up.
But it's PUBG, so you know what you're kind of getting into when playing it though.
A game that I had way back when it launched. But one of the systems that I didn't keep my games for was the PS2, so I'm rebuying some of my favourites, and this was definitely one of them. This one is Scarface, and this one I played it all the way through on the PS2 when, like I say, when it first came out. When I first got my PS3, my backwards compatible one, this was the game I played the most of until I got to the one mission where you got to drive around within a tight time limit, and because the frame rate was different on the PS3 backwards compatibility than the original PS2, found it was absolutely impossible to do the mission, which was great fun because it was about 12 hours into the game.
So it's not at the beginning, so it would have got a bit frustrating.
It did, and I didn't know that it was impossible until I'd tried it for about 3 or 4 weeks. Always coming so close. But yeah, love that game, and I can't wait to get back into that. But I am going to try and finish what I'm playing at the moment, just so that I can concentrate on that full time, because it's a brilliant game.
Next up is no one, which we got from Argos because of the discounts. This is again another sealed copy, and this is Crackdown 3. Now another game which we don't actually have to like open up and everything, because I believe it's on Game Pass.
Well, it is, but in years to come, when Game Pass isn't a thing and servers are shut down, you'll be able to play it.
Yeah, but it's quite. It's an over-the-top shooter in third person, so where you've got superpowers and everything. So
we picked up another PS2 game here that I absolutely know nothing about, but it looks quite interesting. It's a game by Traveller's Tales, published by Midway. It looks like an adventure type game. This one is called Haven. It's got Call of the King. I knew it had a subtitle as well. I genuinely don't know what it is, but I'd never seen it before, so I had to pick it up. Like I say, it looks very interesting. It looks like it's maybe ancient Egypt inspired adventure game, but I could be a million miles out because we've never even put it in the machine yet.
Next up for the original Xbox, this is Burnout Revenge. Somewhat of a racer, because obviously
It means somewhat as a racer,
because you're not always trying to go for first position through just pure racing, is it?
Sometimes you're trying to crash.
Yeah, sometimes you're trying to.
Well, you're not trying to crash.
You're trying to make the others crash to get to first much easier. But it's Burnout for the original Xbox, isn't it?
It is. So if you get sick of Sega arcade racers on the Saturn, there's a nice arcade racer on the original Xbox. And is this the last game that we picked up since our last haul? And it's on the original Xbox. This is the rather short and snappy title, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the official movie of the official game, or something like that. Apparently this is really good, which is
quite
really
shocking.
Really unusual for a
movie tie-in.
For a tie-in game, but apparently this one is really good, and Peter Jackson was involved with it all the way through. Apparently play partly as Kong and partly as
someone called Jack.
So someone on the island who's just trying to survive. So that could be well worth a go. I think it came out on the 360 as well.
Probably did.
So if we say it for the 360, we might pick it up on that as well, because I would imagine the visuals would be better on there. But that's it for this month. I'm sure that we'll continue spending money.
Pretty much.
Because we've been
shops are open.
We've been starved of it for so long that it's kind of a big thing. Although if the pubs start opening properly, that might distract me a little bit. But anyway, that's it for next time. So if you haven't already,
give us a like, a share, and a subscribe, and turn the notification bell so you get notified when we upload, and we will see you in the next video.